It's Thursday, 21st of August 25, and find out now I've just done a poll today. This is about the UK voting, and Reform are at 33% and Labour are at 18%, and I think that's the lowest since Jeremy Corbyn in 2019, and Jeremy Corbyn on that year in the general election get more votes than Keir Starmer got in 2024. But that's just something. But this ties in with the point I was making, that I think morally, if a government is under 20% in the polling for consistently in the polls, it should call a general election. So whether you make that a law, I don't know. It can be debated. I would like to see it debated. I mean, Nigel Farage says that a lot. We should debate stuff, and that's right. It shouldn't just be that because I see it. You know, I want it to get a good airing and let us investigate it. But to me, it makes a sort of good principle that if a government's always under 20% in polling, they should call a general election because they haven't got support of the country. I mean, Keir Starmer only got about 30% of those who voted, and it was the lowest turnout ever. I think 59% was the turnout. In 2019 it was 67%, I think, but 59% was the lowest. So Labour, they call it the Loveless landslide, even though they won the thing, maybe it's because Tories dropped from like 44% to 22% or something. So just on this subject anyway. Yeah, so this is why I made the video, because I think in principle they should be under. If not legally, then morally. Do you think Keir Starmer's thinking that way? No, he's thinking he's going to go till 2029, even though they've done away with the 5-year fixed term thing. He's going to go that way. I mean, he's the first Prime Minister I can remember that I dislike because he seems to be devious, and, you know, even the way he treated Jeremy Corbyn, or even his comrades, you know, even the ones who are supposed to support him. I don't think anybody does support him, you know. Nobody in the cabinet, no MPs. I don't think anybody likes him. They don't really know what to do about him, really. So morally, he's not going to do the right thing anyway, I think. And I just wanted to show that because it's got Labour at 18%. I think, find out now, they're always outliers on this. They always have Reform too high and Labour too low compared to all the other ones. But I think they get the council elections really good. So personally, I think it's them that are getting it right, and all the others are using an old sort of method that's probably getting it wrong. Somebody suggested that they don't use don't knows. They don't presume, guess what don't knows voted in the previous election. They don't use that as a factor, you know, because how they used to do it, I think, was, well, a lot of them was, if someone said don't know, they looked at their old voting pattern. But Reform's a new thing totally, so you can't do that. I don't think. I think somebody was saying it. Find out now. Don't assume what don't knows. They just rule don't knows out. I don't know if that's true or not. I could ask Grok here, but yeah. So Lib Dems at 12%, Greens at 10%, and this doesn't include your party, Jeremy Corbyn's new party, which in one poll had 10%, although a poll this week had them at 4%. So we'll need to see. So compared to a month ago, Reform's down 1 point, Labour are down 2, Tories are up 1, Lib Dems down 2, and the Greens are unchanged. That's from a month ago. Apparently, find out now, do a poll every week. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, this one's, they're comparing it from a poll from last week. The poll notes a margin of error of around 2 or 3%, so small weekly shifts may be sampling variation rather than real changes. So really, you could say it's down to, you know, it's the variation because it's not real, it's error, really, margin of error. But to be down there, you know. The other ones have still got Labour holding on at 22%, and I really can't see that, to be honest, because either people are going to switch to the Greens or to Jeremy Corbyn's new party, or they're going to switch to Reform. Someone was saying that the centre ground's just collapsed, you know, which I think is true, really. Lib Dems seem to be holding on, I don't know why. I think a lot of their areas, they're traditional and they've not changed that much so far, so people are still voting as if Britain's still the same as it was in the 1960s or whatever, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, a key trend highlighted is Reform UK's growth since the general election, retaining nearly all of their 2024 support while attracting a third of 24 Tory voters and 70% of definite new voters who sat out last time. And so, yeah, because there were a big, I mean, like I say, only 59% voted last year. I think it was the lowest turnout ever. So, yeah, and the other thing is this is Reform's highest ever, I think, 33%. And Find Out Now always have them highest, but I think Find Out Now are probably the ones that are getting it right, even if they are an outlier. So personally, I think Reform could go to 40%, 45%. I think people are only voting on a single issue now, really. And with all the things going on recently, the hotel protests, the raise of colours, it's probably making anxious Labour and SNP, Plaid Cymru voters think it's okay to vote Reform now, I can vote that. It's not socially unacceptable. I won't have Labour and SNP politicians will still call me a name, but it doesn't matter so much now. So, because I'm worried about this. I think that's the way things are going. So I think Reform, at the moment, they could go 40% and 45%. Labour could go down to anything, really. Zero, in my opinion. So could the Tories. Yeah, and I was just asking Grok what do you think about my theory that if you're under 20%, you should call a general election. It's just giving it a for and against, arguments for democratic legitimacy, may lack the public's confidence. Well, I think they do, to enact policies effectively. I mean, they've got 460 MPs. They've got 2/3 of the MPs with a third of the voters last year. Of a third of 59% who voted for them. And now they're under 20% in this poll. They really haven't got any mandate at all, in my opinion. And if they had an election now, they reckon Reform might have over 380 seats to 480 seats. So, and Labour would be anything from 150 to 75 or something. So really, I don't have any mandate at all. Accountability. So yeah, I think elections, even if you just kept the first past the post, which I think is a ridiculous system, it should be every 3 years. To have first past the post every 5 years is as undemocratic as you can get in a democracy. So regular elections, in cases of low support, ensured governments remain responsive to voters. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's the whole idea, isn't it? Precedent and practice. Yeah, in parliamentary systems like the UK, governments sometimes call snap elections when facing crisis of confidence. Yeah, that's right. We had one in 2015, 2017, 2019. I think that's the way it should be, really. Arguments against fixed term parliament's legacy. Although the Fixed Term Parliament Act was repealed in 2022, the UK system still leans towards fixed 5-year terms. Yeah, well, I think it's wrong. Unless they call a snap election or a no confidence, they lose a no confidence vote. So yeah, I don't agree with that anyway. Practical challenges, polls or snapshots, etc. Yeah. Well, that's democracy for you, you know. Strategic risks. Yeah, well, that's no reason not to call an election if they think they're going to lose it. That's tough, you know. That's the whole idea. Alternative mechanisms. Um, yeah, we've got the vote of no confidence, but then there's no chance of that because they've got 2/3 of the majority. So there's absolutely no chance, even if a lot of Labour MPs vote against Keir Starmer, which has happened already. Um, the first time it happened, he threw the ones out of the party, like John McDonnell, or he suspended their Labour membership and Zara Sultana. But then the next time it happened, there were so many he couldn't. I think that might happen again and again now because nobody likes him, basically. Nobody has faith in his judgment. Um, so, like I say, find out now are the only ones that seem to have them under 20% at the moment. I'm just using that as a figure. So, yeah, and then I think the Swiss electoral system is the best one, although Switzerland has changed a lot, so maybe it's not even that. It's not so good, but it gave me a very long answer for this, so maybe I'll do this in another post. Um, yeah, they use proportional representation, multi-member constituencies, so I agree with that. The Scottish Parliament's like that for the second vote, really. And then for our council elections in Scotland, we've got a sort of somebody drops out each round, which I agree with more than the first past the post. But usually it means we get a left party person getting in, although that might change now. Reform might just win it all the time now in Scotland. Um, yeah, I'm just looking at the Swiss election. Referendum distress. Citizens can challenge laws passed by Parliament by collecting 50,000 signatures within 100 days, triggering a public vote. And they've got popular initiatives. 100k signatures within 18 months can propose constitutional amendments subject to a national vote. Mandatory referendums, constitutional changes require voter approval. Yeah, so this is the sort of thing. And apparently they're saying voter turnout averages around 46% for national council elections and 49% for referendums, though it can dip below 30% for less salient issues. But I don't think low voter turnout is a reason to not do that, because a lot of these things the people might not be interested, and they feel secure enough that they're not interested to turn out. Whereas in Australia you have to vote, they've got 100% turnout, it's by law. I don't agree with that, because if somebody doesn't want to vote, that should be their right. So the strength of the Swiss system, high citizen participation, yeah, because of direct democracy. PR, yeah, I agree with PR. Consensus driven federal. So it was interesting this, but I won't go into it just now because it's a bit too long. I'll just quickly scroll through it so you can see the points. Apparently New Zealand's changed their first past the post system in 1996. I think we need to do that in the UK as well. I don't think they're saying strong constituency link in the first past the post system, but I voted Reform and I got a Labour MP, so I don't think there's any strong link at all, really. Not unless they get like 90% of the vote. Germany, I've got a mixed member, but I don't agree with the German one. I think the Swiss one's better. New Zealand, I've got a mixed member thing now. They did have first past the post until 1996, so it does show you can change it. Is there a better system? Well, Switzerland is unmatched due to its direct democracy, citizen empowerment, so it doesn't look like there is to me, although Switzerland's changed, so I don't know what, but maybe they've been a bit naive as well, or they like the change. We'll see how the votes go now. Yeah, that's it really. Switzerland's system excels in giving citizens a direct voice, but its low turnout and complexity suggests it's not universally ideal. But like I say, low turnout maybe because the people feel alright with the system, or they just don't feel strongly about that issue. And I think we need e-voting anyway. If you get e-voting, everyone should be able to vote up to the last second, and they can change their vote to the last second, and they can change just through the click of a phone button. So that's it. Switzerland's electoral system is likely the closest to best if you prioritise direct citizen control and proportional representation, as its unique combination of PR and referendums empowers voters like no other. That's the important bit, like no other. So, okay, that's all for now. I just wanted to show that Labour are down to 18%. That could be margin of error. But then they've got to be like in that area, they could be even lower, could be even 16%. If you take the margin of error, then nobody else, find out who seems to be an outlier, but I think they get it right. They got the council elections in May, really good, I think, better than the other ones, the traditional ones like YouGov, etc. Everyone should join these polling companies if they can. YouGov definitely let you join, because it's the nearest you can get to voting at the moment. So there you go. Labour are down to their lowest. I think they're down even lower than Jeremy Corbyn in 2019. Although he got a massive vote, and in 2017 he got the highest Labour vote of the 21st century. So that includes Labour 2001, Tony Blair's second term and third term. So yeah, and they say Jeremy Corbyn's a loser. Well, Keir Starmer studs. So there you go. Okay, bye.